incredible flavours, even better stories. One pour, 10 minutes, Aussie Bourbon Lovers sharing bourbon with Australia.
Oh, great pop.
That was a good pop. So,
You can have a pour.
do you want to do the? Yeah.
I'll do the honours.
So we're
Dave will
excited
introduce
because
our
we've got
special guest.
yeah, it's Denver Cramer from Denver and Liley, the glassware brand, and we're so pumped to have you back on the show, mate, because we're fans of your work, and we're fans of the idea of like it really enjoying a bourbon the way that it at its best.
Yep.
And your story is so cool and all that kind of stuff. But we're doing a fun experiment, right?
Yeah.
Which will be a little bit harder for people who are just listening to understand what's going on. But we've got two glasses side by side. Do you want to talk us through what's going on?
Yeah, so we're going to do a little comparison between the whiskey glass and the bourbon glass and why they are different shapes for one, and sort of follow different philosophies.
So good. And what are we drinking? What are we pouring for us?
What are we drinking is a high rye bourbon, so 28.5%, and it's aged, well, bottled in France and then aged in ratifia,
Okay.
champagne, fortified champagne, essentially, casks.
Oh, wow.
Which is like a crazy, like this was, I think 2021, this was our whiskey of the year.
Yeah.
And this is all that's left.
Yeah, we've gone through that. We should have gone more gently with it.
No.
Do one of our traditional photos, Dave, of where the bottle's almost
I forgot
empty.
that I even had it. Like I was like going through like some stuff at my folks' place, and then I saw that there yesterday. I was like, I've got to bring that in.
Fantastic.
So it's a bourbon, high rye, 28%, 28.5%, and then finished in a champagne cask. Is
Yeah,
that what-
fortified champagne cask,
Fortified champagne.
which is ratifia or something. I think it's called.
Cool.
Amazing.
Have fun.
Yeah, and so that brand is actually a champagne company.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
this
on
is-
there.
Champagne meets bourbon.
Yeah,
It
champagne
keeps
meets
getting
bourbon.
Better and better, right? Because every time I learn something new about bourbon, I go, oh, this is so cool.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've never had something finished in a champagne.
I think this is fantastic. Like I'm even surprised that there's any available in the whole world like to buy now.
Yeah.
Like if anyone's tried, like I don't know, you might not like it, but I think this is like phenomenal.
We're going to find out whether we like it, but we're also going to find out which glass we like it in, because
Yeah.
tell us about the difference between these two glasses.
Sure thing. So obviously you've got a different sort of shape that's going on here. You both got convex sides on here, so that what that does is blow off volatiles, as I mentioned in the previous episode. But it obviously does that at a different volume and a different sort of focus. So this one should be a more rounder profile, and this one is a much more detailed profile. So I would say
So
that this
rounder
is a
in the
bit more
bourbon.
like of a scalpel.
Yep.
You should be able to like nearly tell the months of aging or finishing, whereas this is more of a sort of a mallet.
Yep.
But it's just a wall of sound, like a little bit more wall of sound, but like still has detail and clarity. But it's focused on different things. So I think the best thing to do is probably experience it first, and then we talk about it.
Okay.
So,
All right. So I'm going to go the mallet first. So the bourbon. Is this the right way to do
the
it?
bourbon
Yeah.
glass.
Go the mallet first.
Sure.
Yep.
The bourbon glass. Oh my goodness. Okay. That's yummy. Lots of fruit.
I was going to say it's got a very fruity nose to it.
Yeah. Kind of almost like a raisin nose. Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, yum. It's very
Yeah.
smooth.
yeah, it's really
Like-
complex.
Yeah. But got like a light, doesn't have that really, hit you in the face sometimes with bourbon. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Like amazing that they did that.
We're just going to sit
that's-
here and drink it
that's
for a
like-
while. That's so
So in
good.
the
It's a sipping one. It's not to
Yeah.
get drunk. It's like
Yeah.
really to
Yeah.
like think about it.
And there's like a detailed sharpness to it. I quite like there's an intricacy or something in the way that it sits on the palate. Yeah. Beautiful.
So with this one, you can
So this is
change
the whiskey
smell.
glass. So this is
It's
the one
whiskey
that-
glass.
So
yeah.
moving on
yeah.
to the
Both
whiskey
of them will
glass.
have this feature, which is like you smell at the top and you kind of smell behind the alcohol,
Yep.
and then you come down to the bottom and then you get with the alcohol.
Wait, can you show us what you mean?
So if you smell here, and then you smell down here,
Okay. Yeah.
you'll get a little bit more body at the bottom.
Sorry, that's not probably great listening, but
I was going to say very aggressive sniffing there.
was I
mate.
going too hard on my signal? Sorry, everyone. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing that strikes me is that when you say scalpel, it feels like more. I don't even know what the right way to describe it is. Like feels like there's more florally notes, or like it's a
Yeah.
bit more detailed.
Yeah.
In that higher end. I don't know. It's like
Yeah,
people thought.
yeah,
But
correct, yeah. So it really highlights those like real fine details. It's like a really high fidelity speaker.
Yeah.
You
This
you
one
get
you
to
sort of
hear.
get the caramelly
Yeah.
flavours.
It should be slightly sweeter as well in this.
Yeah.
I reckon that's right. This has got a
Yeah.
dryness to it.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous that a glass can affect that. That's so.
Yeah.
It's bizarre that it's exactly the same thing, but smells and tastes.
Were you
different.
focusing on different parts of the profile? If you imagine you got the whole
Yeah.
pizza and this one will do like sort of 3/4 of the pizza and
But it makes you go like when someone says, "Oh, I don't like bourbon." It's like, "Well, try it in this glass,
Yeah.
and try it in that glass, and
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
try it with."
And there's always a gateway bourbon.
Yeah.
And so this is interesting as well. So I reckon in this glass I'm getting way more of that champagniness.
Yep.
Like that.
Which
Yeah.
glass? The whiskey
The
glass.
whiskey glass,
Sorry,
yeah.
I keep saying this glass.
Yeah.
Like everyone can see me. The podcast art's not that good. So yeah. That is it. Like a lovely. Yeah, it's almost getting. You're almost getting bubbles. It's kind of that
You want the
delicate-
bubbles. You're like, oh, that's really nice.
So that's ridiculous. And so
Do you have a favourite, Dave?
whoa.
It's wild.
Hard question.
Do
Do
you
you
have
have
a
a favourite?
Between these two, it depends on the day.
Yeah.
Like-
glass you wanna go.
Historically,
Which one
I
would
think
you
I would.
recommend if someone was about to open a bottle of that? Which glass would you
It
recommend?
would depend
to
on their
them?
experience, I would say, for me. Like,
Yep.
if it's somebody new to the whole scene, I'd probably just like push them towards the bourbon glass. Mm-hmm. But with this particular expression, I would personally go towards the whiskey glass.
Yeah, I was going to say I prefer the whiskey in this
Yeah.
one. It's lighter.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's almost like that's like the
That might
bourbon
just be
glass
my
is
love of
like
champagne.
that might be it. But it's like it's like you're drinking your bourbon and
Yeah.
and then you put in the whiskey glass and it's like you're drinking your champagne that's got something going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like you get to think about it a little bit more. You get to see a bit more detail. But then that said, if I don't really want to think about it that much and just want to have like a really nice experience, I would just go this.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just, sometimes need to listen to Bieber. Like,
Exactly. Let's keep it simple.
yeah,
Yeah.
keep it simple. Yeah.
That's amazing. And so, how is it that you kind of get to the point from because the whiskey glass was first, right? You started with the whiskey
Yeah.
glass in your journey, and then
Yeah.
you kind of do a few things, and then you come to let's make a bourbon glass.
Yeah.
And so, how do you get from the whiskey glass that's successful, people loving it,
Yeah.
to let's develop something really specific, and then how do you get the insight from the pros? Because I know you spoke to some pretty impressive people to develop this glass out.
I think they were just interested in sort of how we'd done stuff previously. So these brands, like some reasonable sized brands, I guess, Michter's and the Russell family, so Wild Turkey. What is it called? Greenbrier, which is Nelson's Greenbrier, so Andy Nelson and his brother. Can't remember who else we saw on that trip. But anyway, they provided like amazing sort of feedback. And I think they liked being a bit more involved in the journey of a product like this, as opposed to like just being, this is the right price for this thing. There were no, we didn't have any restrictions on budget sort of thing. Like,
Yep.
We just, we just wanted the best sort of research and development and information. And they were keen on that. It was like pure passion.
Yeah, it's one of the things I love about the whole bourbon industry. It's like
Yeah.
you speak to the people who make the barrels, and there's stories behind it, and the people who are actually making the bourbon, like their passion and love for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it only seems natural that should then go into the glass that they're drinking it from, because
I agree.
the whole process is, this is from my point of view, but just like is so many wonderful stories and so much passion, and then you go to drink it and it's like, well, you just pour it into a glass. Whereas this, I don't know, it puts a story in the glass.
Yeah, totally. You've got this F1 track and you've gone and bought
Yeah.
a Corolla Sports. Like,
Yeah.
And then
It'll be all right,
It goes
but-
a fair way back. And then, so what happens? Do you kind of give the guys a couple of glasses and say which one is closest to what you're trying to do, or is it? Do you give
Like,
them
was
a
there
brief
trial
of
and
that?
errors?
Yeah, how does
Yeah,
that
yeah,
work?
definitely,
Yeah.
100%. So it'll be just a conversation, just using whatever glassware they have. But just they would talk about it and we would kind of note, or we would note after, and then send over prototypes potentially, or we would go over with prototypes, or we would, there's a bunch of different things that we've done. And then they would test, and like we do, I can't remember, thermosetting PLA, which is a 3D printing plastic, and then we just test out of that. So we should be able to dominate everything else in the market in the plastic,
Yep.
and then we go to lead-free crystal, hand-blown, and it's just untouchable.
Because that's the other thing I said. These glasses are all hand blown.
Yeah.
They're all handmade.
Yeah. Because it was this spec. It was not It was this spec for our family and friends. It wasn't meant to be
Yep.
for the market. So that's why, like,
So is every single
It's-
glass still hand blown?
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it wasn't. I didn't think this was ever going to make money. I didn't think this was a business. I had a great job at the time, and so did Lily. And this was a Christmas present, and that was meant to be it. 100 glasses done. No parking at Chatston.
So
Yeah.
the-
A Christmas present that became, So
Well, it
how
was
many do
just
you have in your
well-researched.
range? Bourbon, whiskey, and then you've done a wine one?
Yeah, bourbon, whiskey, gin, agave. So
Yeah.
beer, wine, and the Traveller.
Yep. Amazing.
Yeah.
amazing.
That's so cool. I remember when we first unboxed them, Dave was very nervous because at the beginning and end of each of our episodes, we do quite the ting when we cheers.
What's the
And he's
acoustics
just
of
like,
this gonna be like?
are they going to be okay to do a really good ting? and they are.
There should be a strong team.
Yes.
Great team. It's a great team. Mate,
I was
thanks again
pleasantly
for,
surprised.
for joining us. This is great. And a fun experiment. If people want to get their hands on the glasses, they just jump on the website, right?
Yeah, jump on the website, denverandlily.com.
Easy.
You can go through there, or we have 240-something, 44 retailers worldwide now.
Amazing.
So you can rock into some place.
Wait, I was wrapping up, but I've got one more thing I want to ask. Because you've told me that the brief for those guys in Kentucky and Tennessee who you went to and said, hey, can you help us with a glass? Is that you wanted to try to get that, you wanted to help them, or you wanted to create a glass that would taste the most like what they were trying to
Achieve,
create.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's one of my favourite things about this is that when, sometimes you drink a bourbon and you're like, this is delicious, but I wonder how
The person who made
Dan
it.
McKee.
Yeah,
Or,
would want to taste it,
yeah.
definitely. And like they can control everything. They put in so much effort and so much investment into controlling everything that goes into that bottle. But that final last step, when someone just consumes their liquid, they don't consume it out of the bottle.
Yeah.
Like, how come they didn't have better control of that? And I think they understood like that kind of gap.
Yep.
And
And seeing them side by side makes you, like, it still blows my mind that it tastes so different.
And the drinking experience is amazing in both, but they're both different. I feel like this is like a really fun. It's almost. I don't want to undersell it, but it's like almost makes the bourbon more sessionable or something. It feels like it's a more of a friendly hug.
Yeah.
And the whiskey glass. Sorry, that's the bourbon glass, and the whiskey glass feels like it's more of a delicate. It's a scalpel. We're back to it. Oh, so good. Hey, thanks for coming on, Denver. Cheers.
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 Thanks for listening. Make sure you're connected with us on TikTok, Instagram and YouTube, and stay connected with us by clicking subscribe on your favourite podcast app.